say that our next speaker has something that I think will catapult your job, your small business, your entrepreneurship to the next level. I am so excited to be able to introduce one of my good friends and someone who has done so much, not only for her job, but for the community of Dallas and for the Dallas Association of Young Lawyers, Nicolle Ketcham. Nicolle Ketcham currently serves as Senior Marketing Coordinator for McCarthy Building Company's Southern Region and is based out of Dallas. She specializes in developing unique and inventive marketing solutions to entertain audiences and turn proposals into clients. She's also a certified graphic facilitator who unifies teams and works with them to solve business challenges. She received her BAs from Texas Tech University in marketing and management before eventually leading the marketing efforts for a global logistics firm with 36 offices across North America and a sales teams located around the world. In 2016, she made the move to join the construction industry and has worked with some of the leading companies in Dallas, including Southwest Airlines and Children's Health. In 2019, she led teams to win more than $245 million of awarded projects. Nicolle is extremely pro coffee, and when she is not working, she can be found at one of the many coffee shops around Dallas with her husband, Chad. We are so excited to have you, Nicolle, and we cannot wait to hear about Marketing Toolkit for Non-Marketers. And take it away.
So welcome. This is the Non-Marketers Marketing Toolkit. My goal today is to give you tangible tools and information that you can implement into your business immediately, because nobody wants to wait until next year to start making money, right? As Callie said, I am Nicolle Ketcham. I am a marketing and brand strategist. You don't necessarily have to bribe me with coffee in order to talk to me. You can actually just email me at nketcham@mccarthy.com. Or if you have any questions after this, you can also schedule a time on my calendar on calendly.com/nketcham. Also, other good news, all the slides that you will see during this presentation were sent out as part of your seminar handout, so don't feel like you have to go crazy with taking notes and try and get all that information down, because we have a lot of really great stuff to cover today. And with that, that is the end of my presentation. Only kidding, just here to let you know, definitely ask questions in the Q&A box, and then we'll also have time at the end to go through all of your Q&A, because I am excited to hear all of your questions and things that you come up with. So I live in a very small town south of Dallas. It's actually in unincorporated land. And upon moving out there, I decided I was going to take up woodworking. So I bought the big shed and we bought all the tools, and I was jazzed about starting. And then one of my coworkers came and asked me to build her a bird box. And I was like, great first project, very exciting. And then I start trying to figure out how to build this bird box. Well, it turns out you need a lot of tools in order to build a simple bird box. You need the saw, you need the sander, you need the tape measure, the drill, all the screws, you need the wood glue, you need the little carpenter pencil things to make it happen. And you need somebody to explain to you how to use all of these tools, because there's a lot. And marketing is much the same way, because we have this huge toolbox of skills and it can be daunting. And so what I'm going to do today is help you figure out how to use some of those tools. Where should you be spending your time and resources so that you're making the most of them? So today we're going to be rolling through thinking creatively, design tips, clients, proposals, websites, email blasts, social media, and of course, my favorite, tools to make your life easier, because there's nothing I want to do for you hard business owners than trying to help make your lives easier, because you've already got enough to stress about. Because I heard all these all these talks about legal and taxes, and that's a lot to worry about. So you've been working all day, learning all day. So let's start out with something fun. I often get asked, what's a creative way that we can market ourselves? And honestly, yes, being creative can be hard, but it doesn't have to be when you have a process in place to help you think creatively. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a little exercise that I got from a company called IDEO that helps with speed and variety of ideas. So a great quote from a book called Creative Confidence by David Kelly and Tom Kelly, the founders of IDEO, says, when you generate ideas, you're balancing two goals. One, fluency, the speed and quantity of ideas, and two, flexibility, ideas that are truly different and distinct. We know from experience that it's easier to have a great idea if you have many to choose from. So normally what I do if we were in person is I would give you a sheet of paper that has 30 blank circles on it. But since you're all at home and I'm not there to give you this great sheet of paper, just grab any scrap sheet of paper that's nearby, whatever you're taking your notes on. And what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 minutes. And in these 3 minutes, you're going to turn as many circles as possible into recognizable objects. So think about things like clock faces or billiard balls. So I'll actually give you an example. I did these 3 in about 15 seconds. So I've got here a beach ball, a baby Yoda in honor of the Mandalorian coming on tonight, and I've turned 2 circles into a set of glasses. All right, so I'm gonna give you 3 minutes on the clock. Just start drawing. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just want you to draw some things, and it's going to be great, I promise. Whatever those ideas are. If you need a little inspiration, maybe you can think about Halloween coming up this weekend. So what are some things you might see? Spiders, monsters. What is your kid dressing up as this weekend? All right, you're about halfway there. Keep drawing as many ideas as you can, whatever's coming to your mind. Think about things you might find in your fridge that are round. All right, you're coming up on your last 20 seconds. So just put it in there. Any last ideas? Doesn't have to be beautiful, just has to be a thought. All right, and that is time. And if you're feeling brave, I would love it if you would send me pictures of what you created, because I always love seeing what people are coming up with. It's just such a great exercise to get people thinking outside of the box, trying something else, trying to get those creative juices flowing. All right, now that you have all gotten thinking creatively, let's walk through the creative process. At the beginning of the creative process, we use what's called a creative brief. Yes, this form that you're seeing right here on the screen is available with the other information that was supplied. And this is a document used by creative professionals and agencies to develop creative deliverables such as flyers, emails, advertising, websites, you name it. So why do we do creative briefs? What it does is it identifies the goal and unifies the team around that goal. It tells the story and explains why what we're doing is important to our audience, and it serves as a guide for the creation of the new materials. I argue one of the most important things it does is that it helps maintain focus throughout whatever project you're working on. So let's look at the steps to thinking creatively. 1, identify the audience and what you want them to do. So that's essentially what you're doing in the creative brief. Number 2, silently spend 5 minutes with everyone on your team dedicated to writing and drawing out ideas. There are no bad ideas. So this is just like what you did with the circle exercise. You're just jotting down whatever those ideas might be for 5 minutes. So for instance, maybe you identified in your creative brief that you need to come up with a billboard to go on the highway. You're going to sit there with your team and silently spend everybody 5 minutes just drawing out billboards, what they could look like, what they might say. From there, step 3, share your ideas with the group. So everybody has a turn to share what they've come up with. And step 4, collaborate and bring all the best ideas together so that you can create that really awesome idea. I will say a common problem that we run into is trying to include too much. So that's why I bring up a billboard. A billboard's a great example. You can only spend about 3 seconds communicating to people that see your billboard going down the highway. So you have to look at, does what you're adding support the goal? You can't spend 3 paragraphs worth of text on a billboard on the side of the highway. You're going to cause accidents. Nobody wants that. So you have to figure out and continuously go back to that creative brief and say, is what we're doing and what we're providing supporting what we want our audience to do? All right, since we're talking about creativity, let's get into a little bit of design. In a 2015 Global Nielsen survey, almost 60% of shoppers said that they actively buy from brands they know. Having visual branding makes your business more memorable and gives you an identity. So visual branding are things to help people recognize you, such as your logo, the colors that you use, the fonts that you use, the voice that you have with your writing and in your videos that you make, shapes that are seen, images that are seen. So it's all very important that whatever you choose is consistent. So anytime anybody sees something from you, they instantly recognize it. One thing I advise you don't do is use your client branding. You run the risk of misusing or misrepresenting their brand, and that could easily go sideways for you. There is no upside to using your client's brand. So be yourself, represent yourself proudly, and address your client's needs with the content and information you provide. So here on the screen, you'll see HelloFresh. Up on top is a snippet from their website. On bottom is a snippet from their Instagram page. They all have those similar bright colors. They want you to think fresh, delicious. So just one great example of awesome branding and how no matter where you see them, because I'm sure you've all gotten the mailers in the mail, you see it and you're immediately like, oh, it's HelloFresh. Design tip number 2, hierarchy. What this means is making the most important information the biggest information. So what you're seeing here is the most important thing is up on top and the biggest. The next most important thing is the next biggest, and the details are the smallest. So for instance, if you're building a proposal, you need to make it easy to skim with your headlines and your subheadings so that people can easily find what information they're looking for. This is something to keep in mind for any graphic. So grant applications, flyers, PowerPoints, advertising, this is an event poster. The most important thing is the event name right here, really, really big. The next most important thing is the date, so the next biggest, and the details are the smallest. So use hierarchy, it makes a huge difference. Sometimes that's all I do to things here at the office, and people are like, wow, this looks amazing. All I did was bold and make some things bigger. All right, this is the last big design tip I want you to keep in mind. Use white space. Just because you have a white space on your page does not mean that it needs to be filled. You utilize open space to bring attention to the elements that actually matter, and it makes the information easier to read. So let's look at this example on the left. You have the text almost all the way to the edge. There's very little space in between the columns here. It's butted up right against this picture. And that's all wrapped into what's going on here with the title. And that makes anybody anxious. Nobody wants to read that. Instead, look at the one on the right. This is a better use of space and doesn't make you feel so panicky. You're more willing to read this. There's plenty of space around the edges. And actually, from a practicality standpoint, there's room for you to put your thumbs if you're holding it in your hands. And there's space in between the different columns, so it doesn't look so daunting and you don't feel like you'll lose your space. Design does take a lot of work, and it's a tough skill to master. So if you do need a designer, my husband, Chad Ketcham, does freelance work. You can request his services at ketchamcreative.com. He does logos, branding, brand guidelines, advertising design, website design, user experience, also known as UX design, and more. So just a little plug there in case you need your very own designer. So let's get into marketing. Marketing is feedback and data driven. The decisions we make in marketing are based on data and the information that we receive. Anywhere you can, use data to back up your decision making. I often get asked, where do I start? I like to tell people, start with where did your top 5 clients come from? So how did your top clients find out about your business? Was it from an email? Was it a lead from social media? Did they all come from an organization you spend time in, such as the Dallas Regional Chamber? Was it a referral from a specific person? Or maybe did that specific person give you several referrals that are part of your top 5 clients? If that's the case, your money is better spent taking that one person out to lunch than it is on Facebook advertising. So really looking at those top 5 clients and understanding where they came from tells you where you should start spending your time. So then I also get asked, but where can I find new clients? Trade shows, community networking events are 2 places I've always advised people go and participate. And even now with COVID, a lot of those have moved online. There's a lot of great trade shows that have moved online that have been executed very well, community events. And in the event you don't see any, why not start one? Start one and get people interested to come learn about what you're doing in your industry. Another great one is participate in industry organizations. Great way to understand people, what they're selling, and to get more involved and build your network. I also say offering up presentations is a great way to get your name out there and start building that client base. So I actually work for a contractor currently, and we are building a outpatient clinic that is in Dallas. And so we recently gave a virtual tour online to 2 different healthcare industry organizations. And it was a great way to just touch base and let people know what's going on in their community. For those of you that are working in B2C or business to consumer, definitely use Facebook Live. There's a great one. There's a lady who has a page on Facebook called Magnolia Mercantile. I looked the other day, she had a video that was 17 hours old and it already had 3,700 views. She has 82,000 people following her Facebook page. And you know what her Facebook Live demonstrations are? Signs. She's building signs. She has wood pieces and she puts a stencil on there and she shows you how to paint it. And she now has 82,000 people following her to see what her latest and greatest is. Lastly, I say ask for referrals. There is nothing better than a great referral. Now that you've found your clients, you need to know your clients. So know your audience. So if you're working in B2B or business to business, know about the company you want to do business with before you meet with them. Have good targeted questions ready to go, and don't miss out on your time to sell by asking people what they do. If you're working in B2C or business to consumer, do your research on your targeted audience. Where are they located? What does their daily life look like? What are their challenges and how can you help solve those? Another great thing you need to have ready to go is your elevator pitch. So if you Google, how do I give an elevator pitch? There's a million ways out there to do it. This is just one graphic I pulled off Google. But my advice to you is to keep it short and keep it simple. Have 3 big things people need to know and your value proposition. The more succinct you can make this, the easier it is for people to remember. So one great example I have is a gentleman that I met at a networking event. I said, hey, so what do you do? And he said, picture a fire truck. So I hope all of you out there are picturing a fire truck right now. He said, picture a fire truck. Now flip that fire truck upside down. Okay, so flip that fire truck upside down in your mind. And he said, all the things that fall off of that fire truck are what my company creates. Whoa, for somebody who has no idea about all the bells and whistles on a fire truck, I know exactly what that guy does, and I'm going to remember it forever. And if I ever need help getting any of the bells and whistles ordered on a fire truck, now I know who to go to. All right, so now you need to know the why. So when it comes to things such as proposals that are coming out for a bid, you need to understand why the client's putting it out there. Is it because they had to, or is it because they want to? So if they had to, that's an instance where you look at like government and commercial organizations. A lot of times every 3 to 5 years, they have to put things back out for bid. So they may be perfectly happy with the person that's providing them services currently. Or maybe they want to put something out for bid. So maybe they had a management change. They had a change in due to economic conditions. Maybe their current vendor is falling short. And so understanding the why helps you figure out what they're motivated by so that you could better sell to them. If you're working with B2C clients, spend your time understanding what people like about your brand, why it's different than others. Focus on the benefits and solving problems. So a great way to do this is with surveys. Get surveys out there and figure out the why. With that information, you're now able to configure your solution and your message. Because whether you're in B2B or you're in B2C, we are all in the people business. Obviously, B2C, you're working with people. B2B people, you're not selling to businesses. You're selling to people who work at businesses. They have the same wants and needs as everybody else. All right. So for those of you kicking off large or complex deliverables, such as proposals or grants, get yourself organized. I cannot stress this enough because there's a lot of boxes to check to make sure you've done everything you can do to set yourself up for success. So what I like to do is create a responsibility matrix. So in this, I will highlight every individual thing that needs to be done for that deliverable. So if it's a cover letter, I include a cover letter. If we need a table of contents, table of contents. If it's a proposal, every single question gets listed, every single form gets listed. I also identify who's responsible for getting that thing taken care of and when it's due. That helps get accountability and making sure you've checked all the boxes, because there's some people you do business with and some cities you may ask for grants from. If you don't do all the things and jump through all the hoops, you're missing out. They're automatically going to take you off the list. Even if you're a one-person show, it is so important to just make sure that you're organized and you have all of your information together. All right. Always, always, always on your proposals, include contact name and information. So one of the easiest ways to do this is with a company letterhead. So you'll see here our company letterhead, we have logo at the top. We have an address here. We have our phone number. We have our web address. We also try and include contact information down at the bottom with the signature as well. So I've got my name and my phone number here at the bottom. I would be remiss if I did not remind you, whenever people reach out to you for that follow-up, be quick to respond. There's nothing worse than slow service or people not getting back to you. Like, these people want to take you to the next level. They want to start working with you. So make sure you're quick to respond. All right, so another thing I see frequently on filling out forms and filling out proposals, make sure you're answering the question. Whether it is a written response or on a form, always go back, ask, did we answer their question? I say this because I work in construction and our people get so excited about how we're going to solve problems, take care of the client, solutions we're going to provide, that sometimes they forget to ask the actual question that was asked. From there, we make it about the client. And what this does is it gives the client a level of comfort that you know what you're doing. You can use language such as, and here's what that means to you. What this means to you is. The benefit of this approach to you is, and this approach offers many benefits to you. First, all right, so let's put this into practice. We have a company asking, how long has your company been in business? Great question. So we stop and ask ourselves, why are they asking this question? I work for a construction company. Let's assume our sales team found out that the last contractor that they worked with, their business went under before the project was complete. So first, we're going to answer the question. McCarthy has been in business since 1864. And then we're going to tell them why that's important. Over the past 35 years, we have put in place over $2.3 billion of built space and over 11 million square feet since starting operations here in North Texas. What this means to you is that we have the organizational and financial stability so you won't have to go searching for a new contractor before your project is complete. So whenever you look at answering questions, answer the question and then let the client know what that means to them. So as I mentioned before, marketing is based on feedback and data. So how do we analyze success? That's with hit rate. So hit rate is how much of the work you go after actually turns into dollars. And this helps us determine where to focus our time going forward. So were we targeting the right industry? Did we have good relationships? Did we understand the client needs? And we're able to adjust based on that information. So one very important thing to note is that customers are just like you. If they don't know you, they're going to Google you. So it's very, very important that you are listed on Google and that you own that listing. And we'll watch a short video here in just a second that walks through that. Also, as an FYI, for those of you with an @gmail.com or @yahoo.com email address, you can bulk up your credibility for clients with an @yourcompany.com email address. And you can do that by going to gsuite.google.com.
How do I get my business listed on Google Search and Maps? You can get listed on Google Search and Maps with a free business profile that you can manage and update. Let's walk through it step by step. Go to google.com/business. Sign in with the Google account you use for your business or create a new account. Type in your business name. If you get a drop down and see that your business is already there, select that. Read the terms of service and privacy policy. Then click Next to agree. You need to select a business category. Start typing to see your available options. You can't create your own. Click Next. Some businesses have a location open to the public, like a store or a restaurant. Others provide services in a local area, like a plumber or a home health provider. Some businesses have both. If you have a location customers can visit, like a store or office, select Yes. Type in your business address. If you have a service area too, click Yes. If you don't, click No. In this example, we clicked Yes. Click Next to continue. Now, you'll add a service area in addition to your business location. You can enter a radius around an address or a specific area, like a city or a zip code. If you do not have a business location open to the public, you will enter a service area only. Click Next. Add your telephone number and website. Click Next. Click Finish. You will see available verification options. We will show you how to use the postcard option in this video. Request a verification code by mail. If you are a service area business, you'll have to add your mailing address here, but it won't appear on Google Search and Maps. If you've already provided your address, just add your name. Click Mail. You'll receive a postcard with your verification code in about 5 days. Now, go back to google.com/business and sign in. Click Verify Now, enter the code, and click Submit. And that's how you get your business listed on Google Search and Maps.
All right, hopefully that was helpful to a lot of you who haven't had a chance before to figure out how to get listed on Google Search and Maps. All right, back to your regularly scheduled programming. All right, so now that they've Googled you, they're going to your website. The good news is you don't have to be a web developer anymore to have a great looking website. These are just a few that I highly recommend: Wix, Squarespace, Weebly, Google Sites, WordPress. They have fantastic templates that you can get into, super easy to use. All right, so when you're building a website, make sure you clearly state what your product or service is that you provide. So here we've got a snapshot of the website Montage. First, you're going to add a headline. So within 3 seconds, your website needs to tell visitors what you do in a clean and simple way. So for them, effortless photo books made with love. Aww. Then you're going to include a subheadline. This is a great place to identify a common pain point for your audience. So for them, their subheadline is 4 sizes starting at $29. From there, you follow it up with a call to action. So what do you want your visitor to do? And this will let them get to where they want to be in the buying process. So that could be a contact us, learn more, order a sample, whatever it may be. So in this case, theirs is start a montage or take a test drive. So that's kind of like a get started now or learn more. Okay, let's look at another example. This is Kin. At the top, they have their headline, Kin HR software. Then they have their subheadline, streamline HR for your small business. Now, what's cool about this is we're going to reflect back really quick on that hierarchy thing that we talked about earlier. Now, their subheadline was more important communication-wise than their headline was. So they made it bigger. So their subheadline, streamline HR for your small business. And then their call to action, try Kin free or play a video, which is essentially like get started or learn more. So that's their call to action. Other great things to think about when you're building your website are including your work experience. What successes do you have? Can you talk about? Where have you done what you've done before? How are people liking your product? Always, always, always include how people can get in contact with you. Is that a contact us form? Is it an email? Is it a phone number? Whatever it is, just make sure people can contact you. Another question I regularly get on websites is, do we list our certifications? There's a lot of schools of thought on this, but my advice is to list your certifications on your About Us page or in the footer of your website. These are helpful for people and companies to know, but they're not the only reason people should do business with you. Just remember, you're all here for a reason, and it's because you're great at providing a product or service. So highlight that. All right, so in marketing, as we talked about, we love feedback and data. So one really great website tool I recommend is called markup.io. It's a website. And so what you're able to do is quickly get live feedback on your website. So you can post your website into there, share the link with people, and they're able to give you real-time feedback on things that are working, not working. Maybe you've got some typos in there. Get feedback. It's very helpful. And of course, data. Love data in marketing. So a lot of those websites I talked about earlier, they do have analytics, but I am still a huge supporter of Google Analytics, and you can add it to any of those website services I talked about before. So in order to get it started, you go to analytics.google.com. So on the screen here, you'll see what the Google Analytics dashboard looks like. It can be a bit daunting, so I'm going to walk you through the few key areas I like to make sure people look at. First one is unique visitors. Who's visiting? How many people are visiting? What's going on there? Like, are you getting web traffic? Second thing I like to recommend you look at is location. So they have visits by location up here. So let's say that you provide a service, and this service is only provided to the North Texas area. Well, if you have a bunch of people showing up from Australia on here, you probably have some issues with your SEO or search engine optimization. So that's just a flag about something that you should definitely take a look at. For some reason, we're getting people from Australia to our website. Let's find out what's going on. Another thing to take a look at down here is the bounce rate. So bounce rate is an internet marketing term used in web traffic analysis. It represents the percentage of visitors who enter your website and then leave or literally bounce rather than continuing to other pages within your website. Another great thing to look at up here is visits by device. So desktop versus mobile. So right here, desktop, we have 37 sessions that are on desktop and 1 session on a mobile device. What if these numbers were reversed? If we had 37 sessions on mobile and 1 on desktop, that means more people are visiting this website from a cell phone than they are from a laptop or a desktop computer. And that means they need to make sure they have their website optimized for mobile. So I'm sure you're wondering, how do I know if my website is optimized for mobile? Use your cell phone, go to your website. Can you use it? If you can't, it is not optimized for mobile. Usually on a lot of those website systems we talked about earlier, there's an option for optimizing for mobile, and then you make the same tweaks that you would with your desktop version. So just remember, make sure you don't completely disregard mobile, because a lot of times people are looking at websites from their cell phone these days. All right, let's talk email marketing. My rule of thumb is to use a marketing email service such as MailChimp or Constant Contact if you're sending a sales or marketing email to more than 20 people. The reason why is because there are government regulations around email marketing, the same way that there are around spam callers, and none of us want to get fines from the government. So just don't do it. Use an email marketing service. Another good thing is, by using these services, you're going to make sure that your emails aren't ending up in those spam folders. They help you clean up those email lists and make sure they're getting into the mailbox. Another nice thing is you own your email list. No one can take it away from you. So compare that to social media, where algorithms can change, the interactions can change, people stop using things like Facebook over time, or you just lose followers. So your email list you own, and you own it forever. Now, one thing to note is you can't just sign people in. You can't just opt people into your email list. So make sure you're getting permissions. So how do you get more people on your email list? A few ways to do that are adding a sign-up feature on your website. So that little pop-up as soon as they go to your website, hey, learn more about us, sign up for our email blast. Perfect. Also, get a sign-up list at trade shows going. So great place once we make it through COVID and we have some of those in-person events, create that sign-up list. Also, you can add a little snippet to your email signature that says, hey, learn more about our business, join our mailing list here. So get creative in how you get people to opt in. It can also be at the end of a transaction. Hey, would you like to learn more about us now that you've purchased this product? Check here. That's how to get people on. And I would be remiss if I did not talk again about analytics. They're my favorite. So email marketing services provide analytics, and this is huge. A lot of people who haven't used any of these systems before don't realize that they have all this information on the back end. So make sure you're looking at them. And using this information, you can see who is most interested in your services. You can identify which type of emails are most impactful, what's getting opens. So on here, you can see they have the percentage of open rates. You can also see how many people are clicking through to their website or to purchase. So super important to be monitoring those analytics and to see what's going on so that you can track your successes and maybe areas that you need to make some tweaks. Social media. When it comes to social media marketing, don't make it all about the sell. You always want your content to reflect well on your brand. And when it comes to the variety in your content, don't make every post about making a sale, because people get tired of that. Like, how often do you get that barrage of buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, right? So share applicable content with outside links and images, and this can be news from your industry, helpful tips from your audience, upcoming industry events, speaking engagements, successes for your clients, awards that you've received. So for instance, like I said, I work for a construction company, and we very proudly just finished building the brand new Raiders Stadium in Las Vegas. Such a cool project. I actually got to go check it out in person. And so it was really cool for us to be able to share that this new project is open and it's out there and it's available. And this was another great opportunity for us to tag our joint venture partner, Mortensen. So we're actually gaining on views that they would also get since we tagged them in the post. Always make sure you're designing for the platform you're posting to. So each social media platform has its own specifications. So when you auto share content from one social media platform to another, text could get cut off, links can be reformatted awkwardly, all kinds of bad things can happen. So instead, create each post for the network you're publishing to. So just think about the picture sizes on Instagram and Facebook. They're very different. Instagram has the square thing, Facebook's got the rectangles. So if you were to post something from Facebook and push it to Instagram, it might cut that picture off funny, and nobody wants that. So this same thought process also applies to video. Instead of adding a YouTube link to your Facebook feed, upload the video directly to Facebook. Facebook actually has algorithms that push down YouTube videos within feeds so they won't automatically play. Because believe it or not, Facebook and YouTube are competitors. All right, a great way to get organized for your social media is with a social media management platform such as Hootsuite, Buffer, or Sprout Social. There's a bunch of them out there. Those are just 3 that I recommend. So instead of having to say, okay, it's Monday at 1, I need to get on Facebook and make a post, and tomorrow, Twitter, 2 o'clock, I need to make another post. What you're able to do is schedule time in your calendar, get into one of these systems, plan out your posts. What do they look like? What do they say? What are your hashtags? And get them in the system and schedule them. The system will then handle it for you throughout the week and get those posts pushed out for you. So you don't have to continually be checking in and checking back on, oh, I need to post something else. And of course, my favorite are analytics. So whenever we look at social media analytics, things that we are looking at are the clicks. How many people are clicking on what we're talking about? How much engagement is there? How many impressions? So that's how many people, whether they clicked on it, commented, anything, whether they did any interaction or not, how many people just saw it? And then how many reactions did we get and how many shares? And all of this helps us figure out how to tailor our future posts, like what's successful, what's not. We also look at benchmarks, such as the percentage increase in followers and the percentage increase in engagement by month and year over year. So are we continuing to see people follow us on Facebook? Well, if we see a dip, is it because people are starting to leave the Facebook app? Or is it because people don't like our content as much? Also, timing can be a big deal. According to Hootsuite, the best time to post on any social media account is between 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Wednesday. So if you don't post a lot or you just don't have time to, it's not your strong suit, think about making your posts sometime between 8 a.m. and 11 p.m. Monday through Wednesday, because they're more likely to get more views. All right, so my favorite, let's talk tools. I love cool tools to make your life easier and to make my life easier because we all have things we'd rather be doing, right? Canva, this is canva.com. They have ready-to-use templates available for social media, infographics, proposals, flyers, presentations, you name it. And the thing I love is that they have the exact right sizing for your post or picture, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, or something else. So if you think about your LinkedIn page and it has that long, skinny graphic at the top and you're like, okay, what size does it need to be? How do I make sure it's formatted right and the text is in the right spot? Well, you have this great tool called Canva to help you figure that out. It's super easy to design in there. They have templates for you, like I said, so you're able to easily create that and then put it into your LinkedIn header. I also love that you can save all of your designs, go back to them later. So one really cool upgrade that they have is you can actually create a brand kit. So you can upload your logos in there, you can add your brand colors, you can add your brand fonts, and it helps streamline that process for creation whenever you're using Canva. All right, this is one I think people do not talk about enough. I love Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides. This is Google's version of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. One of the things I absolutely love about it is they have a lot of great templates in there that look really good, really professional. The other great thing is that you can make updates with multiple people in real time. So it's easy to collaborate even though you may not be working in the same office. Everybody's working from home. Great. Any of these things you can get on there, work through them together. Super helpful. Another one of my personal favorites is moo.com, M-O-O.com. They do business cards, frequent buyer cards, flyers, stickers, notebooks, you name it. So really what they do is they take your business cards and marketing materials up a notch. And they are just so high quality. They really know how to set your business apart. If you want to take a look at the impact that it can have and really see the difference, you can order a free sample pack from their website. Another website that I am a big fan of is Upwork. And what they do is they help you with one-off projects that you don't have time for. So essentially you can go on there and look for somebody who specializes in web, mobile, software development, sales, marketing, and you can get proposals from people to help you on these things. All right, last but not least, the most important thing I think in all the toolkits is the CRM system. For those of you who don't know, a CRM is a client relationship manager, which helps you organize your contacts, So essentially, it's a contact management system that helps you centralize information on companies, customers, leads, such as like who's a lead, who do you need to follow up with. It allows you to keep track of where individuals work, which companies are providing the greatest opportunities, and it also helps generate reports. And these reports can do everything from marketing campaigns, sales, things like that, so you can really understand how your overall return on investment is doing. So here at McCarthy, we use Microsoft Dynamics currently, but we're also a little bit of a larger company. So I actually took some time to look up some of the other top CRM systems for small businesses. Those include Copper, Insightly, Less Annoying CRM, which I love the name of, Keep, HubSpot CRM, Pipedrive, and Capsule. All right, so with that, I hope you've heard some nuggets of information that you can take back to your business and start implementing.